everyone, welcome to this deep dive tutorial about monitoring, playback, and a 3D view in the new Fiedler Audio Mastering Console 2 application. The Mastering Console 2 runs on Windows and Mac as a standalone application and is the first truly complete mastering solution for Dolby Atmos. With Mastering Console, you won't need any other applications like Dolby Atmos Renderer, the album assembler, or even a DAW at all. You can do everything you need quickly and easily with the Mastering Console. This tutorial is divided into chapters, so you can easily jump to the section you are interested in. Check the description below for time-stamped links to each section. The Mastering Console offers monitoring through two simultaneous paths, one for speakers and one for headphones. The routing of both paths can be configured on the Options page. We've covered this in detail in an earlier tutorial about setting up the Mastering Console, so have a look there for more information about this topic. There are two binaural algorithms available for headphone monitoring, Dolby's own binauralizer and Apple Spatial Audio. If you're working on a Windows computer or an older Mac where spatial audio is not natively available, you can still listen to spatial audio just without the head tracking. This is a really powerful and unique feature of Mastering Console since it lets you preview how everything will sound on Apple Music with spatial audio engaged, even if your computer doesn't natively support it. Head tracking is currently available on Apple's headphones on Macs that support this, and also via the Supperware head tracker. To select your preferred head tracker, click on the gear button here. Note that the separate Supperware application for converting the head tracker data to OSC is not necessary when working in Mastering Console. The Supperware head tracker connects directly to the Mastering Console via its own MIDI protocol for minimum latency. When the presence of a head tracker is detected by the Mastering Console, the option becomes available in the dropdown. Let's select the one that we want to use and close this window. Click on the power button to activate head tracking. And now when you turn your head, you'll see the head moving in the small 3D view in the lower right corner. If the detected direction of the head tracker is off, turn your head to look to the front direction and click the reset button. Also note that each of these head tracking options is independent of the selected binaural algorithm. This means you can use whatever head tracking system you prefer with whichever binaural algorithm you like, giving you maximum flexibility. When a speaker layout is selected, you can solo or mute single channels of the chosen layout using the buttons below the meters. Above the meters, there's an on-off switch for additional render headroom. The limiter built into Dolby Atmos Renderer emulates the soft clip limiting that will be applied during the encoding process. We've decided to provide a way to not trigger this limiter by reducing the volume of the signals going into the renderer by 60 dB and raising the renderer's output by 60 dB again. We do this because the limiter can easily change the sound of the rendered Atmos mix if it is above the usual loudness norms. With this kind of gain staging, the renderer behaves in a linear way so that you can comfortably work on your sound and leave the loudness correction to the very end of your workflow where it belongs. After loudness correction, we recommend switching off the additional headroom for a final quality check to really hear how everything will be encoded. Please note that this switch also works for the limiters in the renderers used for re-render export. If you want the re-renders to sound as they would be rendered from the encoded Atmos mix, you'll need to switch off the additional headroom before export. Next to the headphone meters is the volume knob, a dim switch for reducing playback volume by 12 dB, and 3 mute buttons. The beds button mutes only the beds. The object button mutes all dynamic objects, and the larger mute button mutes the entire audio playback. Here you'll also find horizontal and vertical zoom controls. These are covered in detail in a separate tutorial about the timeline, so have a look in the description for a link to that. Next to the Mastering Console logo, you'll find the playback controls. Most of them are self-explanatory. One control that may not be immediately obvious is the stereo button. This button lets you hear the stereo track instead of the Atmos track. Note that you can only monitor your Atmos track or your stereo track, but not both at the same time. Now, stereo mixes can sometimes be louder than their Atmos counterparts. So the small knob to the right of the stereo button lets you adjust playback volume of just the stereo track. This lets you level match the two mixes for easier comparisons between them. One more thing about Atmos Playback. When a session is not gapless, each region has its own renderer. You can confirm if a session is gapless or not by viewing the indicator at the top left of the window. Each region having its own renderer means that slight artifacts can occur when crossing region boundaries. Once a session is indicated gapless, a global renderer for playback is used, just like it will on the consumer side, and no artifacts will occur when playback crosses region boundaries. You can quickly reposition the playback pointer by clicking on the time bar. The channel meters and a 3D view in the lower right corner show you what's currently going on at the playback position. The round channel meters in the lower right corner not only show you the volume in each channel, but also indicate the kind of channel that it is. Bed channels are shown in yellow, while dynamic objects appear in blue. The small 3D viewer next to the channel meters shows the dynamic objects and bed channels as they appear in 3D space. You can move the view around by clicking and dragging, and you can alt-click the window to reset it to its default position. You can bring up a larger 3D view by clicking the small icon at the top right corner of the 3D view. The 3D view gives you a great visual overview of what is happening at the current playback position. A small version of the timeline is shown at the top for your reference. You can click this timeline to jump to a desired position. Zooming and scrolling works just like it does in the main timeline on the timeline page. Below that is a list of the channels present at the current playback position and the big 3D view showing objects and beds. The display mode dropdown lets you select from 3 different display modes. If silent object small is selected, the 3D objects let you know where sounds are located in space while also serving as meters. If a channel is silent, you'll see the object is small and semi-transparent, but the objects will grow as signal level increases on that channel. The next mode is called All Objects Equally, and it shows all channels in 3-dimensional space equally. In this mode, objects remain the same size regardless of whether there is signal on them or not. The last mode is called Silent Objects Invisible. In this mode, you only see a channel if there is some signal on it. If a channel is silent, the object disappears from the 3D viewer. The Hide and Focus buttons let you select what you want to see. And just like the small 3D view on the main page, you can rotate the 3D view here by clicking and dragging, and alt-clicking the 3D view resets it to its default position. And if you have head tracking activated, you'll see that the head in the 3D view moves accordingly as you turn your own head. And that's it for this one, folks. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and check out our other tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to not miss any news, tips, and updates. There's more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.